Am I the a-hole for telling my sister she needs to step up and parent? I, 31F, have a sister, 37F, with 5 kids, 3 daughters, 14F, 13F and 11F, and 2 sons, 15M and 13M. The girls have a good relationship with each other. They fight sometimes but still love each other. The girls and the boys also have good relationships with each other. Her sons do not have a good relationship with each other and never have. The 2 boys have their own bedroom, and the 3 girls do. They also have a guest room. Last night, my sister called me and asked me if I could have breakfast with the boys. She explained they had a big fight but didn't explain why, but she wanted me to speak to them because my nieces and nephews are close to me, and she needed my help solving their dispute. I first talked to Stetson, 13. He stayed the night at a friend's house due to their argument. He wanted to get away from his older brother Marlon, 15. I took Stetson and his friend to Taco Bell, and we had breakfast there, with his friend being there for support. One important thing to know about Stetson is he is a Christian while the rest of our family is not religious. The kid's dad's family is also not religious. Stetson found some athlete's Bible at a thrift store when he was 7 and asked his parents for it. My sister and her husband have always allowed their kids to explore their views, and he wanted to explore this, and he soon asked to go to church, and now he's very religious, including doing stuff like going to Bible camps. He, however, is not a conservative Christian. He rarely talks about politics, but he is on the progressive side. I follow him on Instagram, and his stories are mostly sports stuff and Bible verses, but once or twice a month he'll post something political, and it ain't always anti-Trump or progressive in some way. Stetson told me the fight started when he brought back a canvas he found at a thrift store with a shirt and a canvas of one of his favorite Bible verses. The shirt just has the verse on it. Not the text, but the canvas has the verse, which is Leviticus 19 verses 33 to 34, and basically says not to mistreat foreigners. Stetson told me he went to put up the canvas on his side of the room. Marlon asked what he was doing. He saw this and started to make fun of him, and they got into an argument over it. Marlon called him a Jesus freak and tried to say something against immigration, and then Stetson tried to defend himself, saying he thinks God wants us to love immigrants, and then mentioned a friend and baseball teammate of his. His friend was born here, but his parents were born in the Dominican Republic. Marlon then called that friend a slur. This made Stetson go to his parents to complain, who told him that he needs to learn to work with people who may not agree with him politically or religiously. Stetson told me he really didn't think much about it politically. He told me he doesn't care about politics, but how he always puts, in his words, God first, and how he refused to bow down to Marlon. I believe Stetson here. He doesn't really care for politics/news. He told me if his religious views are politicized, it's not his fault that people politicize his faith. I did scrutiny Stetson a little, and he admitted deep down he knew Marlon might react if he saw it, but he said he didn't care, and he stood by everything he told me. I then dropped the boys back off at his friend's house and picked up Marlon and took him to McDonald's. He defended everything he said and doubled down on slur usage, saying his brother acted like a F***G. I told Marlon I could understand if Stetson was being preachy about his faith and that annoyed him, but that Stetson also has his right to believe what he wants. Marlon sounded very bitter, complaining about how Stetson has a girlfriend because he's a popular jock, and how he's never had to face any real challenges in life, and how hard his life was in comparison to Stetson's because girls don't want to date smart boys, and it really rubbed me the wrong way. He said he wasn't going to apologize for telling the truth. I was revolted by what Marlon said and think this is almost entirely his fault. There are times where I think Stetson takes the intensity of his religion too far, but it's not in a bigoted way, just in a way where he may place too much of an emphasis on it at times. I told my sister and her husband my thoughts after dropping Marlon off, and she said she'd just probably give Marlon the guest room because it's bigger and give Stetson their current room. I asked how it was fair to the girls to do this, and she said that she was tired of them fighting and that she's just accepted the boys don't like each other. I asked her about therapy, and she said she's tried to get them to go, but Marlon thinks therapy is for betas. I told her she needs to step up and parent, including punishing Marlon for using a racial slur about Stetson's friend. She said she didn't want to do that because Marlon's life is already hard enough because he isn't very popular at school, and grounding him would only further isolate him. I told her she was being ridiculous and left her house. She's called me back and wants me to apologize, but I don't think I have anything to apologize for.